You're listening to the 10 podcast where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. And we aim to support parents, carers, and educators to help their children to build confidence, self-esteem, and a balanced life. I'm your host, Jahseen. And in today's episode, we're going to dive into a topic that many educators, parents, and caregivers encounter: a silent child who seem withdrawn, disengaged, and isolated despite doing well academically.
Welcome to the 10 Podcast, where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. This podcast is dedicated to providing parents and educators with valuable tips, strategies, and insights to support children and young with or without special educational needs. Your host is Jahseen Foster, a qualified special educational needs teacher and a certified children's coach. Join us as we explore ways to install confidence and self-esteem in children from a young age.
Now, if you're a teacher or a parent or a caregiver, you may have come across a child who excel in their study but barely participate in lessons, avoid conversations, and often seem to be lost in their own world. Today, we are talking about how we can understand and support these children to ensure they have a balanced life where their social, mental, and academic needs are met equally. But before we start, let's define what we meant by the silent child. In this context, we are not talking about a child who's an introvert or naturally quiet. The child we're discussing is academically successful but shows very little engagement in the world around them. They don't join in class discussions, they avoid family activities, and they disengage from their community, and they often prefer isolating themselves in their bedrooms or on the playground or in any social situations. That's the kind of silent child we're discussing today, how we can support them to break down this barrier and achieve a more well-rounded life where all aspects of their life are supported. So, let us think of children's personalities as a garden. Picture a beautifully blooming flower, vibrant and impressive, catching everyone's attention. However, beneath the surface, the roots are dry and neglected, struggling to find nourishment and nurture. Without healthy roots, the flowers cannot sustain its beauty for very long. Similarly, a child who is excelling academically is like that vibrant flowers, shining brightly in their studies and academic achievements. But beneath that success, they may be experiencing social, emotional, mental challenges, much like the neglected roots. Without addressing these underlying struggles, the child's overall well-being can suffer. In such situation, the child cannot reach their full potential without all areas of their lives being nurtured in a balanced way. So why is it essential to support children to achieve a balanced life? Whilst academic achievements are important, they are only one part of that child's development. For a child to truly thrive, they need a good foundation in social and emotional health as well as their intellectual growth. Balance helps children to build resilience, connection, and a sense of belonging. Without these, even the brightest child may struggle with confidence, self-esteem, and emotional well-being in the long run. When a child appears to be absent, down, isolated, disengaged from the world around them, this means that they're constantly in the blue zone, which is consisted of low mood and low energy. When a child is consistently in the blue zone, it can impact not only their present experiences, but also their ability to navigate the world independently in the future. Our goal should be to support this child transition from merely being present academically to feeling connected, valued, and motivated, as well as supported in all other areas of their life. You're listening to the 10 podcast where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. And in this week episode, we're looking at how can we support a child who appears to be daydreaming, sitting alone, appear absent-minded, detached from the world around them, but yet they are doing very well academically. How can we support that child to achieve a balanced life? So in this next segment, let's look at why a child may exhibit this kind of behavior. Let's consider a few potential underlying causes. So one of the first causes that we may look at is internalized anxiety or low self-esteem. So despite a child doing well academically, this child might be struggling with low self-esteem, low self-worth, or social anxiety. They may believe they don't fit in, or perhaps they may feel inadequate comparing to their peers or their siblings. So this could be one of the possible causes. The second possible cause could be perfectionism. Some children have an intense fear of making mistakes or not meeting their own high standards that they set for themselves. This perfectionism can lead them to withdraw themselves from social activities where they feel they could be judged by their errors or mistakes. So it is important for us to let children know that we don't want them to be perfect. We want them to try. We want them to make efforts, and we will praise those efforts. And it's not all about the results. So the third cause that could possibly cause a child to be silent is the lack of social skills or feeling misunderstood. Children who feel different or misunderstood might withdraw themselves to protect themselves from discomfort or judgment. So because they want to protect themselves from being looked at as someone bad or someone silly or stupid or whatever people might judge them as, they protect themselves by withdrawing themselves. Another possible cause could be a need for control. Think about it. In a world that we feel overwhelmed most of the time, or the world is unpredictable around us, some children may retreat into solitary activities like gaming or reading, where they are in full control, where they don't need to take direction or judgments from anyone. And finally, another possible underlying cause could be traumas or past negative experiences. This could be an experience of bullying, family issues, or other challenges that make them feel safer when they withdraw themselves and disengage from the world around them. Understanding these underlying causes can help us better tailor our approach to support that child. It's about meeting them where they're at, not forcing them into social situations, but encouraging them slowly to explore and encourage in ways that are comfortable for them. Now, in this next segment, I'm going to share some practical tools and strategies to help your child in school, in the school environment, who are suffering from the possible underlying cause that we've just discussed: internalized anxiety or low self-esteem, perfectionism, the lack of social skills or feeling misunderstood, a need for control, and possible underlying traumas or past negative experience. I'm going to share some strategies with you that you can use in the classroom to combat these difficulties. The first strategy that I want to share with educators is provide a safe, non-judgmental space where children can feel freely to make errors without judgment. And when I say this, I mean taking small steps which are celebrated by the educator. Small steps like contributing to a discussion via written response, rather than asking them to put their hand up in front of everyone. Give them a piece of paper where they could write their answer and respond to your questions. Also, another way to get them to participate in maybe doing peer activities or working in small groups. If the child has a classmate who enjoys similar hobbies to that child, try to pair them with that classmate who can share their similar interests. For example, if they love reading, see if they'd like to join a book club or help them to set up a quiet corner where they can go and have 20 minutes reading time together. This is another way to help that child break that silence and that sense of isolation. Thirdly, using reflective practice in school. Help that child to reflect on their feelings and interaction by encouraging them to express themselves, whether through journaling or having one-to-one conversation with a trusted adult. This can allow them to explore their emotions and recognize any fears or insecurities so we can put the right things in place to support them. And the fourth strategy I want to share with you is to incorporate the zones of regulation into that child's day. We've covered this on previous episode. This can help the child to identify and communicate their feelings. For instance, if they're feeling blue, they might realize that they're experiencing sadness or low energy. Helping them to move between zones can give them a sense of control and understanding of their own emotions and find strategies to help them to regulate those emotions. Another practical strategy that I want to share with you, educators, are encouraging small acts of participation. Instead of asking for full participation, just let them do small contribution and recognize these small steps as achievements and support them, compliment them, let them know that you appreciate those small steps that they are taking. So those are 5 strategies that I've shared with you that you can practice in the classroom to help children to break down these barriers in the school setting. So let's recap: create safe and non-judgmental environment, encourage peer and peer interaction through small shares of interests, using reflective practice, incorporating the zones of regulation, encouraging small acts of participation in your classroom. If you've just joined us, you're listening to the 10 podcast where we teach, empower, and nurture minds. And we're looking at strategies that we can use to support children who are successful academically, but are struggling socially and emotionally. In this next segment, we're going to share some strategies that parents can use at home to support their children to overcome these barriers. So parents, the first strategy I want to share with you is quality one-to-one time. Spend focused time with that child, doing activity they enjoy, whether it's playing a board game or doing a creative activity. Make it clear that their presence and company are valued without any pressure. Secondly, creating routine family activities. Engage in regular family activities that the child might look forward to. This could be something as simple as a weekly movie night, cooking a meal together, or just having family reading time where each person share a bit of a book they're reading. And thirdly, setting screen time boundaries. While gaming and reading can be valuable hobbies, ensure these aren't becoming escape time from engaging with the family. Encourage balance by setting boundaries on the screen time and creating opportunities for other interaction and other things to do, other activities that they can participate in at home. And the fourth one, use open-ended questions. I keep saying this to parents. Rather than asking yes or no question, try to ask open-ended questions that allow the child to share more about their thoughts, their feelings, their day. For example, what did you enjoy most about your day? Or if you could design your ideal weekend, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? And let's talk about the fifth one, modeling social interactions. Children often learn by example, modeling positive social interaction and demonstrating how to express emotions, thoughts, feelings openly. This shows the child that it's okay to engage and share how they are feeling. And finally, creating a holistic support system. Collaboration between schools and home is essential for supporting a child's emotional and social health. Here are some ways to create a united support system between the home and school. Regular check-ins. Teacher and parents can have regular check-ins to discuss the child's progress and share observations. This can reveal patterns and help adapt strategy as needed. Celebrate small wins together. When children make progress such as speaking up in class or participating in family activities, Both teacher and parent should celebrate these achievements in a positive way. Empowering children with choices, allowing children to make small choices in their daily routine, from choosing family activity to deciding on a topic they like to explore at school. This helps them to feel in control and build self-confidence. We can also try building emotional literacy. Teach children to name and express emotions in a healthy way, perhaps through tools like emotional charts, storytelling, or creating art. This can be particularly helpful when they're reluctant to verbally share their feelings. I hope these strategies can help parents and teachers at home. So I have shared strategies that you can use in the classroom and at home. I share strategies that you can use collaboratively between the school and home. One thing I want you to know, that when we're supporting children who are silent, but academically achieving and socially and emotionally withdrawn, we must be patient. We must have empathy and a balanced approach. This goal isn't to push them to something they are not, but to help them feel valued, connected, and understood, both in school and at home. Remember, progress can be slow, and that's okay. Each small step towards engagement is a victory. By meeting the child where they are, we can help them to build confidence, form connection, and thrive in all aspects of their lives. Thank you for joining me today on the 10 podcast. I hope this episode have given you valuable insights and practical strategies to support the silent child in your life. Don't forget to tune in next week as we continue our journey in empowering children to reach their full potential. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.
To make the most of today's episode, download additional resources or contact Jahseen at www.tenyourmind.com. That's TENyourmind.com. You can also visit www.coachjahseen.com for more information.